Hey, what is with your face? Hey, how's it going? Nick Digilio here. Enjoy your face. Enjoy it. um, I guess I've gone nuts. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. Almost daily videos popping up on YouTube. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Like. Subscribe. All that shit. Share. Do it. Most importantly, go to patreon.com/NickDShow. Donate a little dough. It helps me out to keep the videos coming, to keep the content coming. I want to keep doing my podcasts, which I love doing and everybody is really enjoying. So in order to help me out in that department, it would be awesome if every little bit helps. Pick a tier, donate, become a patron. You get extra bonus content and videos that nobody else gets. All you got to do is donate a little dough to get a monthly tier going. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Go there right now. Donate, pledge. It's awesome. You get bonus material and all kinds of cool stuff. So do it today. Patreon.com/NickDShow. And you're watching me on Patreon and you're a patron, I love you. Thank you very much. And I'm actually cutting an exclusive video, another behind-the-scenes WGN story that only patrons can get, and I will be cutting that and probably posting it tomorrow or the day after. So the only people that will get it will be patrons. So you got to donate and go to patreon.com/NickDShow right now. My podcast is the Nick D Podcast on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network every Tuesday and Friday, new episodes. All right. Hey, want to feel old? Celebrating an anniversary. Today is April 26, 2022. And released on April 26th, 37 years ago, on April 26, 1985, was the classic teen comedy, Just One of the Guys. Yeah, Just One of the Guys. A classic 80s teen comedy about gender identity and gender swapping and mistaken identity and all the wackiness that goes into the mid-80s teen comedy, PG-13 rated teen comedy, although there is a flash of boobs at the end of the movie. This one is sort of a cult classic. The director of the movie is a woman named Lisa Gottlieb, who was only like 25 or 26 when she made the film. She worked in the casting department and did casting mostly on John Belushi movies. Like she part of the casting people that worked on Continental Divide and Blues Brothers. She had a Chicago connection, but she worked as like a casting agent, and someone came to her because of a short film that she had made. And they said, hey, we have this script, and it's about this teenage girl who pretends to be a boy in a high school. We'd like you to direct it. She'd never really directed a feature before. She worked in casting, and boom, boom, boom. She was only in her mid-20s when she made it. And the result is Just One of the Guys. Now, I happen to love the movie. I love it, unapologetically love it. Yes, it's not a very great movie by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, it is dated at this point, as many mid-80s teen comedies are. And yes, there are things in it, of course, that wouldn't fly by today's standards. That shit just doesn't bother me at all. If you're offended by the shit that was made 37 years ago, that's on you, I think, not on the movie itself. It reflects the time period. And if you go back and look at a ton of movies from different time periods, there's something to offend everyone in all of them, and blah, blah, fucking blah. Get over it. Anyway, I happen to really love this movie, unapologetically. It is a crappy, a movie at the core, and everybody knows this movie. It was a low-budget film with no big stars in it at all. This was, the people who would go on to do other things weren't really popular at that time, and some of them would go on to do other things. Some of them would just disappear, and it was the plot was essentially, if you want to be pretentious about it, but it's true. It is an adaptation of Twelfth Night, of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. And it does, it like many, teen comedies, it's an adaptation of a classic piece of literature. Clueless is Jane Austen, and 10 Things I Hate About You is also Shakespeare. And so many other things are, very, you can adapt from Shakespeare. But this is Twelfth Night. Joyce Heiser is the star of this movie. And she plays a girl who does not win the writing contest, the journalist writing contest in her, that she entered into, and she's convinced that the reason why she didn't win it is because she's a girl, and if she were a man or if she were a boy, she would have been taken more seriously as a writer and as a journalist, and she goes on to try and prove it by going into another school, cutting her hair, pretending to be a boy, writing about that story to see if, in fact, she is treated better, treated with more respect, and more dignity, and allowed to express herself better as a boy. And that's the test. She gets there. She is, everybody is convinced that she is indeed a boy. She starts hanging out with guys in high school, becomes sort of a popular dude. All the hot girls like him / her, and she meets a guy who is under the impression that this is indeed another guy, and they become best buddies. They hang out, only she has a massive crush on him, starts to fall in love with him. So Joyce Heiser plays the girl. She has a wacky brother played by Billy Jacoby, who at that time was part of the Jacoby brothers, because there was Scott Jacoby, who was Bad Ronald in one of the greatest made-for-TV movies ever. Billy Jacoby is his younger brother, and the Jacoby brothers were all over the place in the 70s and the 80s and into the early 90s. And he played the wacky brother, the horny wacky brother, who had, Playboy Playmate centerfolds pasted up all over his wall. He grabbed his crotch a lot, tries to teach her how to be a boy. So when Joyce Heiser's character decides that she's going to do this, she's going to cut her hair, pretend to be a boy, in order to write this expose and prove that, in fact, boys get more respect than girls, or women get less respect than men. Her brother is the only one that really knows about it. Her younger brother tries to teach her what it's like to be a guy. He does this thing called the basic shift. You got to get your balls. You grab your balls, do your basic shift. It's that kind of stuff. Here's how to be a guy. Grab your balls. And then all the hot 80s, dressed women all love this new guy, played by Joyce Heiser. Sherilyn Fenn is in this movie. She plays the hottie that falls in love with Joyce Heiser's male character. Sherilyn Fenn would go on to be in Twin Peaks. She would also be in Two Moon Junction, the sexy straight to video. She was also on Shameless. You know Sherilyn Fenn mostly from Twin Peaks. William Zabka is in it, who at that point was probably the biggest name in the movie, because the year before is when Karate Kid came out, and it was one of the many movies that William Zabka would star in where he just played the blonde dick. He was always the asshole. He was always the bully, the dick. He is the quintessential blonde-haired 80s dickhead. And he plays one of these. He plays the bully, the jagoff. He is the quintessential William Zabka, best known from Karate Kid, and now he's like the main character in Cobra Kai. He's like the main guy, and is having a resurgence in popularity because of the stuff that he's doing in Cobra Kai. Anyway, he was the quintessential go-to actor if you needed a teen blonde-haired asshole dick jagoff. William Zabka was that guy. Clayton Rohner played the best friend. Terrific character actor who would go on to star in some other things and then go on to direct. Interesting guy. Great choice here, and does a really nice job. Ari Gross is in it. You'll recognize some other character actors, older character actors. Kenneth Turbin is in it as one of the teachers who counsels Joyce Heiser. And wackiness ensues, okay? You've got stereotypical 80s teen sex comedy stuff in it. The drinking, the partying, the girls who are half naked, Joyce Heiser walking around in a very skimpy bikini at the beginning of the movie, her boyfriend being very sexist, and the tone of the movie is very mid-80s. It's got a lot of techno pop in it, a lot of little bits of little crazy, stupid MTV hair metal is in it. It is from 1985. It's from 35 years ago, released on this exact day 35 years ago, and it is a quintessential mid-80s teen sex, PG-13 wacky romp, and I don't give a fuck. I think it's funny. I think it's good. I thought the casting was really terrific. I thought Billy Jacoby as bass and crotch grabbing and as stupid as he was, I thought the character was funny. I thought Billy Jacoby was hilarious. I thought Joyce Heiser was wonderful in the movie. I thought she was convincing playing the guy, and I thought that the movie's plot was kind of like if a teenage girl saw that movie, it might be inspiring to her, to see a teenage girl in the mid-'80s go, all right, I'm going to take this on, I'm going to pretend to be a boy, and I'm going to prove that we live in a sexist time. And the 80s, well, every decade is sexist, even now. Sexism's not going to go away, unfortunately, but in the 80s, it was more on display, even more. So this movie takes on some stuff that I thought was kind of fun. And I would imagine I wasn't a teenager when the movie came out. I was 20 when the movie came out. And so, I was, a couple of years out of teenage, being a teenager. And so I thought it worked on all those levels. I was only, 5 years out of high, or no, not 5 years, 3 years out of high school at that point, 2.5, 3 years out of high school at that point. So I still was an idiot youngster, and I thought it was funny. And over the years, I've seen it, and I thought it was funny. When it shows up on cable, I watch it. I like Just One of the Guys. Now, you could go in and you could nitpick it to death. You could say, this is offensive, and this is sexist, and this is blah, 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 blah. And you can go in and go, it's really stupid. And yes, it's dated. It's the mid-'80s, from the fashion to the dialogue to the music to the tone of the film, to the to everything that's on display. It is a quintessential 80s movie. So whether you like that or not, whether you're offended by mid-'80s shit and some of the stuff that they got away with back in those days, well, good, be offended by it. Get out of here. I really like this movie a lot. It's one of my favorites. I thought Joyce Heiser was amazing, and I could not believe that she would not go on to huge, huge stardom. Now, this was by her choice. She was getting a lot of offers at that time. She did a couple of other movies and then appeared on LA Law and did a stretch on a couple of other TV shows. For the most part, though, she became like a Hollywood babe. She was like the it girl, especially for, like the teen low-budget world. And she caught the eye of some major people. And she dated some major dudes. Joyce Heiser hung out with and dated, and for a while was having some fun with fucking Warren Beatty. Yeah, Warren Beatty, man. Leave it to Warren Beatty, man. That guy, back in his prime when he was single, whew, the amount of unbelievable women that Warren Beatty ended up dating or screwing or hanging out with is, we all know it. It's astonishing. And then he finally settled down with Annette Bening, and everybody thought that would never last, and they've been together since 1990. But yeah, for a while, as you know, Warren Beatty in the 70s banging everything that moved, and he went out with Joyce Heiser. Clearly not in the same age range, but he dated her, and then she dated Bruce Springsteen. Yes, so Joyce Heiser dated Bruce Springsteen and Warren Beatty in the 80s, never really went on to any kind of sort of lead actress or comedy success that she should have, but that was by her own choice. She left the business. She's got married, kids, all that stuff. She pops up here and there. She's got causes that she cares about and charities that she works for, and she's living the regular life. You know what I mean? But she got out of it. I really am disappointed, though, because I really would have liked to have seen what she could have done more, because I think she's terrific in the movie. So Joyce Heiser is the lead. Billy Jacoby, he also sort of dropped out, changed his name, is not in show business anymore. But Ari Gross, Sherilyn Fenn, Clayton Rohner would go on to do more. Lisa Gottlieb, the director, never really did anything else. She directed a couple episodes of some TV series, and that's about it. Never had the kind of success that she had when she was in her mid-20s, when she did this weird 80s teen sexy kind of romp version of 12th Night, and it never really equaled again. Just One of the Guys. I have great memories about it. I remember seeing it in the theater, and then my friends and I saw it. All my buddies at that time, we all loved it. All of my friends, a huge group of friends that I hung out with. We saw it at the drive-in like 2 or 3 more times. We all loved it when it came out on video, on the old VHS. We rented it a bunch of times and watched it when it came on cable. It was a standby. Whenever it shows up, late night TV or cable, I watch it. I think it's funny. I think there are great scenes in it, some really funny stuff. And it's a classic mid-'80s quintessential teen romp. Came out right the same year as right around the same time as like Revenge of the Nerds and Real Genius and all of those teen comedies. Like Breakfast Club came out a few months earlier. Weird Science came out like right around that same time too. It was a very huge time for the teen, romp. And this one is one of the best ones. I love it. I think Just One of the Guys is hilarious. And it is 37 years old. Jesus, if you want to feel old. So today marks the exact date of April 26, 1985, that Just One of the Guys was released. And again, I mean, as huge as success would happen when it came out on VHS. I remember Grandstand Video. That was my local mom and pop video store that I used to go to and hang out at for hours at a time. They couldn't keep it on the shelf. When it came out on video, Just One of the Guys, you could not keep it on the VHS shelf. And it became a standby on Comedy Central and on cable. And I love it. So anyway, happy 37th anniversary to Just One of the Guys. A highly intellectual adaptation of Twelfth Night. Now I got to say, I haven't seen it in a few years. It's been a while, and I'm sure that now in the political climate of what's accepted and what isn't accepted in entertainment and movies and what you can say and can't say, I'm sure that people could pick this movie apart. I haven't seen it in years. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's long before the woke shit started, whatever that means. So it'd be interesting to see, watching it now, just how people, and I'm sure people could rip it to shreds. But I don't give a shit. I unapologetically love it. Just One of the Guys, happy 37th anniversary. The movie rules. If you don't like it, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Find a sense of humor, perhaps? I don't know. Anyway, Just One of the Guys. Yeah, it rules.